I'm back for another video. My name is Josh Kasich, and today, these are my thoughts of the Pokemon Sword and Shield expansion and slightly explanation. So here's the thing. When I first saw the Direct, I did not expect the expansion best. I actually expected more Pokemon Home news, maybe Pokemon Sleep, which is eventually going to come out, and Pokemon Home was going to come out in January. That's what my honest thought was. But it turns out Pokemon Home was only briefly at like the end of the Direct, and basically is going to be released till February. So, I forgot the especially date for that. But overall, the expansion DLC bad. That is crazy. Pokemon has never done that, like ever. And I think this is definitely a better step in a better direction for Pokemon. I think it's definitely better to add DLC. And in future, maybe even add more DLC than just adding 2. You know, just make the game longer. And probably save them a bunch of time, too. I mean, honestly, I would like to see a new game. But lately, it's like a new game every year. And I don't have a problem with having a new Pokemon game every year. I actually do prefer that over what it used to be, but I didn't even know they used to be, and I now realize I really don't want to have that old way. I mean, because I just want to keep playing Pokemon. But now with the added addition of DLC, I think I would prefer if they just make a game extend every year with more DLC until they're ready to make another game. And I think that just makes more sense. You know, it makes a game have more life to it, right? And so I think the DLC was definitely a step in the right direction. You add more Pokemon, new Pokemon. You don't need a third-party game anymore. I don't think a third-party game is necessary, because essentially it's just that game again, but with some differences. Not much differences, and that's kind of the problem with it, because you're paying for an entire new game that's basically the same, you know, and we don't want to be paying for this. What's cool thing about this expansion is, there's there's one expansion for Sword and one expansion for Shield, and they're both $30, which is actually less than what the Pokemon Sword and Shield is. But not only that, it comes with 2 parts for $30 for each game. Now, I don't know if both parts add up to one full game, or one part adds up to one part a game and the other one. I mean, really think about that. You're getting 2 parts for the price of half a game, and then you could get both. You could get for both games for a total of 1 game. Now that is a bargain. I'm telling you, that is really interesting, and it makes sense. I mean, you don't want to pay a full game for just DLC, right? So yeah, it was definitely brilliant on the Pokemon Nintendo part to do that. I think it definitely makes a lot of sense. You know, adding more DLC, more story, more content, just to make a game just last a little bit longer until you're ready to release a new game. Alright? So, now the part 1 is basically the Isle of Armor, which adds kind of an island area to the side, and you kind of go on a training mission in old style fighting type stuff, and you get 2 legendary, which will evolve into same Pokemon but with different styles depending on how your Pokemon train, which essentially is when I originally saw the Direct, before they told us that information, I thought it would be exclusive because they had the blue and the red, which kind of signifies Sword and Shield, but no, it actually is just based on how you play in the game. And then they both get Gigantamax forms, both forms of the final evolution of the legendary, the new legendary. That is brilliant. I think that's really interesting too, and they even have their own special moves. So this is like really cool. I don't know which one I want to go for. I'm probably going to play it twice. You know, I don't think I can though, because I would have to pay. Because I think it'll only go on one account, and won't go on both accounts. I don't think. Probably not. So that's a little unfortunate. I don't know. I kind of want to get both forms. If I was going to go for the for any form, I might go with the dark fighting one. That seems more interesting. But the water one seems interesting too, and it's blue, which do prefer blue over red. But I don't know which one I'm going to pick, but eventually I'll figure it out for sure. And then they added, obviously they have Galar and Slowpoke, which was in an update to the game, which you can catch in an event. And it's breedable, too. So I have, the one I caught was female, but I didn't want to evolve a female Slowpoke into Slowbro and Slowking, because King being male, Bro meaning male. I don't know, just... There's some, like, I would feel weird to have female versions of those. So I breed them until I get a male one. So I'm going to evolve one of them into Slowbro and the other one into Slowking. Depending on, once the first part would be Slowbro and the second part will be Slowking. I'm pretty sure that's what they said, right? So that's going to be interesting. There's definitely going to be more Galariform Pokemon. I don't know if, besides the Legendaries, I'm not sure if there's going to be new Pokemon. There possibly is. They're also adding, with both parts, over 200 plus Pokemon, and that leaves about 200, maybe less, depending on 200 plus means. Exactly. It's probably a little bit less, because and they added new Pokemon, so that actually changes some stuff. They added 3, so that would be at the Pokédex would go to 893. So they had 400 in the original game, so that's that would be before this expansion pass. So it was 890. So that brings it down to 490, not in the game. So definitely they took out more than half of the Pokédex. And they're adding something 200 plus, so that would leave like, I mean, it depends on how much 100 plus is, because, well, 200 would be 290, but 200 plus, so it definitely probably still be in the 200s. It's 293, so... No. Yeah, I think it'll still be in the 200s, because they're not going to have that big gap. I don't know if they're going to have another DLC to add the rest of them in. I don't know. The original idea was game release all these Pokemon was for competitive reasons, and now they're just adding them back in, so I don't know how that's going to work. Are all these Pokemon going to be banned? I mean, I don't know what to tell you on that part. Because the reason why they took out most of half the Pokédex was competitive reasons. At least that's what they said, and unless they were lying, which they could have. I'm not gonna say they didn't, but I don't want to say they did lie. I don't know. But yeah. So the first thing is kind of your training to become under one of former champion Leon's trainers who used to be the champion. So now you're training under him, and called Mustard, and so that's actually pretty interesting. And then depending on which game you have, which I have Shield, you would get a secondary person you would fight and train against, depending on which game you got. I think I have Shield, so I think I have Terry, I think it is, or Avery. I think his name was Avery. Right, Avery. Can be a girl's or a guy's name, so, the guy kind of looks like a girl, too, but it's a guy, so it's kind of weird. But yeah, I mean, it's kind of weird. But and then the sword one is kind of a poison type. The one in my game is a psychic type. I forgot the girl's name in the sword one. She's supposed to be poison type. So which is, and then she kind of has this weird Dustox looking bow on her head, but it's like a different color of Dustox. So does that mean no Galariform Dustox? I wouldn't know. There's definitely probably going to be more Galariform Pokemon. I just don't know how much. And I think there might be new Pokemon other than that, than the 3 legendaries, but I don't know. That's more of a guess than anything else. Oh wait, I forgot. I said 3 legendaries. Scratch that. They added 2 more Reggies in the Tundra, which makes it actually 5 new legendaries, which actually is 95. Sorry I said that. That was my bad. But yes, so that's kind of the second part. The first part. The second part is called the Crown of Tundra. So it's kind of usually you have the sword, the shield, the armor, and now the crown. You're the ultimate king. I'm joking. So there's a legendary kind of it looks more of a mythical to me than a legendary, so that's kind of weird. I mean, a lot of people assume that mythicals and legendaries are just the same, but I don't think Game Freak actually shares that opinion, because on their official website, they show all the legendaries, and I'm pretty sure mythical Pokemon are not under that list. I could be wrong. I probably should recheck that out before actually saying that, so I'm sorry if I am wrong about that, but I'm pretty sure they don't count mythicals as legendaries. That's why they're called mythicals. And it definitely just looked more like a mythical than a legendary, but, you know, whatever. Are we even getting mythicals this region? Because it's kind of weird if we didn't, but, I mean, like I said, if it is a mythical, I don't know. I mean, they said it's a legendary clearly in the trailer, so who knows? It'll be the first mythical legendary. Ooh. And it kind of looks like a deer crownberry rabbit thing. I don't know exactly what it is, but it's supposed to be the original. I think it's supposed to kind of based off of what happens if the Queen of England was a Pokemon. And it's kind of that idea, and because it has a crown type thing, hence the crown of Tundra, and it talked about how it used to be the ruler of all of Galar, and now it just relies inside the Tundra. So that's kind of interesting. Now you can actually in the Tundra, which is really weird. You can actually catch all the legends, except for they did not show Regigigas, the Sword Trio, or Necrozma. So I don't know if it's actually all of them. They showed everything else. Did they show Cosmog and Cosmium? I don't think they showed Cosmog or Cosmium. I mean, honestly, I don't think they're necessary, but if you want to say all the legends, they're technically all part of Lunala and Solgaleo. I have to recheck that out. I really should recheck that out, but I definitely, for sure, they did not show Regigigas, Necrozma, or the Sword Trio. I'm pretty sure. Could be wrong. I mean, I could be wrong. I don't know. But I'm pretty sure they were not. Now, they also did not show the legendary birds, technically. And the reason why that is because, well, they only showed legendaries from previous generations, which are legendary birds, except they're getting Galar forms. And we're 100% sure they're Galar forms. Because, well, they definitely look like Articuno, Moltres, and Zapdos, but they have new forms and especially new powers. I'm pretty sure. Like, Moltres becomes black with fire, so it literally becomes the Dark Phoenix. And then you have Articuno, who become, I think, psychic, maybe, like a psychic. They keep the original typings of fire, ice, and electric, but they add, I think, new typings. They get rid of the flying typing. So yeah, you have the Fire Dark, I think, Ice Psychic for Articuno, and Zapdos. I think it loses its ability to fly and becomes is like basically a road runner. And one of its attacks, it uses its leg as an attack. So I'm going to say electric fighting. It could be electric ground, but I think it's electric fighting. But I could be. That's more. Those are more guesses. Other YouTubers have guessed that too, so that's my. That's what I'm saying. It's assumption. And then they, like I said, they added the Reggie kind of electric, because it looks like a Reggie electric. So these are new. Oh, they also did not show the Reggies, the original Reggies with the other Legends, mostly because they showed the regular Reggies, Reggie Ice, Reggie Steel, Reggie Rock, before they showed the new Reggies, because they had their own place in the game. So, that as well. Now, the Reggie, but Reggie Ice is pronounced Reggie Ice. A book that my friend has, it's pronounced Reggie Ice. For some reason, Pokemon stopped calling it Regice, because there's a certain point where they said Regice because they spelled it like Regice. So whoever is in charge of Pokemon anime now, if they're the same people, might have made that mistake. I don't know. It's pronounced Regice because all the other ones are Reggies. Yes, there is no. If it was Regice, there would have been another I. Now there's a possibility they think two eyes right next to each other just look weird. However, they have Cyanotic now, which is two eyes right next to each other, so I think they should update Reggie so people can stop being confused. I think they should update that so people are not confused, or the anime is not confused, or stuff like that. However, they might not want to do that because of the fact that they say Reggie in a certain part of the anime. I think in a movie they said Reggie too. Don't quote me on that. And then there's this Pokédex. I think there's a Pokédex thing that said it was pronounced it Reggie Ice. So I don't. But yeah. So we have Reggie Electric, or whatever it's gonna pronounce, Reggie Trick or Reggie Elect, or something. I don't know, Reggie Elect or something. I don't know. And the other one has kind of dragon like Charizard's like thing attached to it. So I'm thinking it's possibility a what's it called? It's probably dark type because it's probably based on medieval time. The things with the Reggies is that they're kind of based on a time period. So Reggie Rock is kind of the ancient times. We're in like historic, like dinosaurs, stuff like that, or that kind of range of time period. Reggie Ice is supposed to represent the Ice Age. Reggie Steel is kind of supposed to represent the kind of the Steel Age, or the I like kind of more, I don't know. Because I think electric would represent the electric age, where it'd be more like more modern time type thing. Tech, where steel, I think more revolution, like the industrial revolution part, which technically electricity was also part of that time period. I think. I mean, industrial revolution. I think it's been a long time. It's somewhere around that time electricity was made. So. And then Reggie Dragon or Reggie Dark, depending on. It's maybe Reggie Dragon, but it could be Reggie Dark. Mostly because it's probably based on medieval times. Obviously, when folklore like dragons and stuff were talked about. Another person said prehistoric age. I don't think it's prehistoric age. I think that's kind of represented by Reggie Rock. But, you got Reggie Steel. So, there's. You got it's either Reggie Dragon or Reggie Dark. I don't know which one it would be. I definitely think it's based on Middle Town. It does have the color palette of Yveltal, which is a dark fly, so that's actually kind of interesting. Um, Now, there's a theory going on with Regigigas why it wasn't shown is because it's possibly with the new Regis, and this reason may have gotten in a new form of some sort. However, I kind of don't want that because I think it would be pretty cool. I think it would be banned competitively anyway, but to actually use the Regigigas on a what's it called? A Regigigas and a Gallon Wheezing with its neutralizing gas ability, so that can get rid of get rid of Regigigas' ability, which makes it not to attack for like 5 turns are up, and that would make it like OP. I got to say, it'd be kind of interesting to see that in a battle. There, I don't think Soaking wasn't added to the game, which also has that ability. I don't know if it's going to be added in the expansion. I kind of wish it would, so that if Regigigas is banned or it has a new form where it doesn't have that ability anymore, we will have Slacking, which has kind of a similar ability, and have that negated so it can attack with wait until so many turns. I think it's slow start though. I think it's called, right? But yeah, it'd be interesting to see. But if Regigigas gets a new form without getting rid of that ability, or if it keeps that ability, if they're going to give it a new form, I hope they get rid of it because how much people hate that ability. And the reason why they gave it that bit is because they thought Regigigas was too powerful, even though it's a normal type, so I really doubt that much. I mean, it is powerful, it's a legendary, I'm not going to disagree with that, but it's a normal typing, so it's not the best legendary. Like, Arceus is supposed to be the, quote-unquote god of the Pokemon universe. I really don't want to, and it's a normal type. It does have the ability to become different types depending on what play you have, but the fact that it's normal typing kind of makes it not as powerful because it's a normal type. Now, if it was ice type, it would be even worse, but ice type is definitely the worst typing, but normal is it has some weaknesses, and it's not super effective against anything. So yeah. But it has one weakness of fighting, and that's kind of bad. I mean, if you can't super effective against anything, it's not really useful. I mean, it probably hit really hard, maybe, but for sure, it'll hit hard depending on the Pokemon it has, but it's not going to be really as much damage as a fighting type against it or another typing against other Pokemon. But other than that, you have that, but it's kind of interesting to see. Now, I don't know why they wouldn't show the swords. I'm pretty sure they didn't see the swords. Now, it's a possibility because it's sword and shield. They didn't want to add them because they're not shield based. There isn't a lot of shield legendaries, if any. Or they fit so well this region that they're doing something with them. I don't know what they would be doing with them, but they're doing something with them. And then Necrozma, I don't know why they went at it. I mean, yeah, Necrozma is technically the most powerful Pokemon, not including Eternatus's other form. But however, Necrozma is only the most powerful is because of its other form, Ultra Necrozma. And without Z Crystal and the ability to fuse it with Lunala and Solgaleo, it really can't get that other form, so I don't really understand why they wouldn't add it. I mean, it's just a pure psychic. I mean, it's more powerful as its final form, but it has no access to that final form, so why not add it? Unless, we're going to add Necrozma, I mean, it doesn't make sense to not add its other form in another way, and if we have to add that other way, we don't want to add Necrozma. It's kind of that idea, maybe. I don't know. I feel like the reason why they took all these Pokemon, especially legendaries like Tornadus, which is people complain a lot in competitive about not Tornadus, Landorus. A lot of people complain about Landorus competitively because it's competitive, like it's really good competitively and annoying. And yet they added back in the game. So I'm going to assume all these legendaries are going to be banned, because I just don't see why, if they weren't lying about competitive reasons, why the legendaries would be in competitive. But there's that. Other than that, that's kind of my idea and thoughts of the expansion pass. I think it's a great idea. They should do this more. I wish people are not hating, because people think about the Pokemon as a paywall. It's not through a paywall. Maybe $5, because they're actually updating the games so that you can actually get these Pokemon through Pokemon Home. You won't get the Galar forms though of any of the Pokemon added to the game. So that's one thing you'll be missing out, but you still get the games, or you can still get all those Pokemon from your previous games for a measly $5 of Pokemon Home. I mean, it's still technically paywall, but it's not as much as $30. Or technically $60, because technically there are exclusives. That's another thing. There are exclusive Pokemon between both games. It's like, expansion pass. It's basically like another 2 games, essentially. So in that way. But like with the updates, you'll be able to get all those Pokemon through Pokemon Home. It's only $5, so it's not as much as $60 or $30 if you just buy $30 and then you get from the other Pokemon from your friends, which is definitely possible. So we'll just assume $30 at that point, unless you do want to get them all yourselves. Then it will be $60, but let's just go with the $30. And so then, so you would have to get. All you have to do is pay like 50, like maybe 50.30. That's literally because it's probably like $4.99 plus taxes, which is Pokemon Bank. Pokemon Bank was $4.99 plus tax. It came out to $5.30. So it's probably about that. I don't know if it's going to be. It's about that pricing for Pokemon Home. So you still kind of have to get through a paywall, but it's not as much as $30. It's essentially just adding like $5 to the original game, essentially just to get over more Pokemon. I think you're actually paying like $5 for about 200 more Pokemon, where you're probably paid more money for the Pokemon. If you spread out the money for the game, you're probably paying, maybe you are actually paying a little bit more for those 200 plus Pokemon, but unless there's new Pokemon, you won't be getting the new Pokemon either, so, and I can't do that. I have to get the expansion pass to get the new Pokemon to consider of me having every single Pokemon. I still don't have Melt Metal, so I still can't do that. I have all the new Pokemon of Galar except for the ones in expansion pass. Still don't have Metal. I do have Meltan. I'm having a friend that's helping me with that because I don't play Pokemon Go. I don't have a phone to play Pokemon Go. I did have it on my iPad, but I ran out of Pokeballs and stuff. And in order to get more, you have to get coins and and you only could get coins either by paying for them or going, doing what Pokemon Go is meant for. So, but my friend's helping me with that, and so that's going to happen eventually. I'm going to definitely pay for the expansion. Like I said, my final thoughts are, I think it was a great idea. I think it's the best idea. It's better than a third game or two games, Ultra Sword or Ultra Shield or whatever, whatever going to call it. I think it's much better. It gives them some more time to focus on a new game because they've been coming out with games like every year. This kind of gives them a break a little bit so they can have a little bit more time to work on a new game. I think overall I think it's better for everyone, and especially we're getting more Pokemon than we ever thought for these games than we ever thought we did, because they did say they weren't going to do patches, and essentially this is technically a patch. So we're getting what we want. People are still complaining, and that's just helping Game Freak a lot. So I think this, like I said, I like this idea, and I think it just helps everyone. So those were my final thoughts. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please leave a like if you did. If you're new, subscribe and hit the notification bell so you'll be notified for my next upload. And my YouTube channel website link is down in the description as always. And thank you. Goodbye. P.S. I forgot one little detail. I think that's cool about these 2 new areas of the Galar region. These 2 new areas of the Galar region are basically 2 new areas of the wild area, and they're all new. Like, the entire thing is a wild area for both parts. So you basically have all the features of the wild area. Like, you would have dens all over these 2 new parts. I think the dens in the tundra are actually underground, and that's where you catch the new legendaries. And those not new legendaries, I mean where you catch all the legendaries from old games in Dynamax. Like, you catch them big, so that's actually interesting. So yeah, you would encounter new Pokemon in these dens and stuff. You also have the feature to move your camera around so you can see everywhere, and you can even do that in front of the buildings in this region. I mean, this new part, this new area. So, which you couldn't previously do in the Galar. Like, you can only move the camera in the wild area, where there isn't really any buildings except for the daycare in there. So, like, towns and stuff, you can't really do that. Well, here you actually can. And then there's also there's Gigantamax, Venusaur, and Blastoise added to these games, as well as your starter that you picked when you go to these areas. I think specifically the Isle of Armor. I don't know about the Crown Tundra, but in the Isle of Armor you can actually Gigantamax your starter. They have Gigantamax forms for all 3 Galar starters. So that I forgot to add, and they do look cool. So I can't wait to use them. And yeah, so those are all the information I've missed. Sorry guys, but yeah, that's it for sure. So bye again.